Hello, my fellow RevOps people. This is Ed King, CEO and founder of Openprise. Today, we're going to talk about the most important part of operationalizing a champion mover solution, which is the execution of your playbook. This is episode 7 in this series, talking about the champion mover solution. If you missed the previous episodes, we highly recommend you check them out, especially if you have never heard of the repeat buyer ratio metrics and why we think it's better than net revenue retention. Now, just to briefly recap for you, the 3 parts of a champion mover solution, they are 1, detect the move signal, 2, determine the relevance of the move, and 3, execute your sales play. So detecting that a champion has moved to an interesting account is great. However, if you can't take advantage of the event, then there really is no point to operationalize this process, right? The whole reason we do this is to leverage the champion's move to a new company to generate new business. So let's talk about what are some of the playbook components you can operationalize once a champion mover event has been detected. The absolutely least you should do is to notify the sales rep that owns the account where the champion just landed in. You can do this by email, by Slack messages, but probably the most robust method is to create a task in your CRM like Salesforce. This way, it won't fall through the cracks like the people's jammed inbox, and you can measure SLA against it as well. Now, just letting your rep know about the champion landing in her account is great, but your rep probably doesn't know about this person. So to make this meaningful to your rep, you should do 2 things. Let's assume you do, what most champions do in this situation, what most companies do in this situation. You mark the old contact record as no longer at company. Then you create a new contact record for the new company. You should carry over any personal data from the old record to the new record. This means at least stuff like mobile phone numbers and LinkedIn profile URL. Second, you should link the new contact record to the old contact record. Yes, there may be more than one, and the person has been through multiple companies. And note in the new record that what is the relationship the company has or the champion has with the company has with the champion, right? Is she a user, a decision maker, or just a beneficiary of your technology? Basically, all the data that your rep needs to understand the value of the champion that just landed in his laps should be readily available without the reps have to do research, right? Now, in addition to notify the rep, your playbook may also include automated nurturing. You could do this using nurturing campaigns in your marketing automation platform or cadences in your sales engagement platforms like SalesLog, Outreach. A little congratulatory message is always nice to receive for your champion. And how about adding a little gift with a tactile campaign? Let your imagination fly here, right? And your champion's mover will appreciate it.
All right. Hello, our RevOps peeps. This is Mike Ni, CMO of Openprise. I just had to interject, heard a little bit of what Ed was talking about. And the Champion Movers is such an important program that I just had to throw in a little bit of my own experience. And Ed would love to hear how you think this works. When we thought about the Champion Movers, by far one of our highest performing campaigns we ran, exactly to all the points you had, I literally had 4 people in India running this program. The process was a bit complicated. How do you detect that someone's moved? How do you match and augment the data? So you had what was needed for whatever play you're running. And literally had a team for all the holes of the data, which inevitably there were, be filled in by a team, manually researching this. And then, again, making specific programs that would then be put into Marketo. We'd send out a first email depending on the role the person played. Was he an influencer? Was he the decision maker? And was he technical? And have specific emails that would go out from the SDR from marketing or from the relationship person, then a notification in CRM, to your point, that had to be sent to the salesperson. This was month and a half, 2 months, and just a team setting it up, and then a manual effort to make it run every month. I mean, Ed, what do you think about how others can be using, Openprise to be able to not only recognize but orchestrate the play that has to happen around movers?
Yeah, so that's why I said let your imagination go, right? So that's why the playbook execution is the most important part of the three parts of champion mover. Everything you talk about is exactly kind of the graduate version of what I talk about, right? And if you think about a specific industry, for example, let's say if you sell to government agencies or industries where a partner is a very important part of the engagement, right? The playbook doesn't even have to limit to just your team. It can actually involve, for example, notifying a partner who that is engaged in a new account. What do you want them to do, right? So yes, all this kind of orchestration, Openprise can help with the data flow, with getting the different the parties involved, and involve any kind of execution tools that you have. And again, this is where it's all about your business, how this process needs to fit your go-to-market, and that's what's so interesting about Champion Mover. But it doesn't matter what you do. The important part is that you actually just do it.
Well, and I think it gets back to exactly what you and I have been talking about. How do you operationalize your data and really make that data go to market ready? I mean, how do you make it good? How do you make it yours? And how do you make it useful? Like augmenting the data, finding those revenue signals, someone has moved, and then knowing these are the titles that where they've gone. How do I find where they've moved to and get their information? And actually, we were manually carrying this place to place. I mean, literally, it would take a week to just get from signal to even the fastest play, and operationalizing that so that we can orchestrate the playbooks from that. It's such a magical thing to actually see this all come together on really this data automation layer that we've been talking about. And like I said, I'm super excited. I'm sure our customers will be excited about it as well.
In the meantime, please share this episode with a fellow RevOps colleague so we can all get smarter together. See you next time.